Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. So tell me about yourself.
My name is Alicia Jackson. I've had a love for music since I can remember. I also am currently enrolled in SAE for audio engineering. I have a high school certificate for sound that I it's a class that I took in high school. I have a great passion for music. It definitely motivates me, and I love the creative side of it. I am a very creative person, and I have good leadership skills. I have a business, a cleaning company, so leadership skills, payouts, all of that, managing and supervising, I'm very good at.
Okay, so how did you hear about this job?
I seen it on I seen it on Google, and then it took me to an Indeed website.
Okay, tell me about a time that you failed.
Well, like I said before, I had a cleaning company, so one of my I had someone who asked me for a job, and so I took him through the training. I took him, showed him the ropes, and he was doing really good for a while, and he just one night just didn't go do any of the accounts that I needed him to do. And so I felt that was a failure of mine because I should have known from past situations that he would have a different judgment that than I would have, or fail to complete the task. So that was a failure of mine, but I ended up just going to do the accounts myself, and but I did feel like I failed.
Okay, why are you leaving your current job?
Well, I still have my business. Um, I but I wanted to put my foot in the door when it comes to engineering, and I wanted to be able to do both because they're both my passion. My business and music is my passion, and engineering is my passion. I love to produce and engineer.
Okay, so I see there's a gap in your employment. Why
Yes.
is that?
Oh, I was actually a caregiver for one of my family members. So that's why there was a gap in employment for that.
As an audio engineer, what is your best skill?
I feel like my best skill is the way my ears hear things. Also, I am a very creative person, and I kind of know what's good sound and what's not good sound. I also have a great way of running sessions, and I am a very creative type of person, and I love to just create and help others become creative. I also have experience in Pro Tools and Logic.
What does a day in the studio look like for you?
Definitely fast paced but consistent and tedious. Um I like to be very organized. It's definitely an organized day. All the ducks is in the row. Everything that needs to be handled is handled properly and professionally. I would love to be in a studio all day, every day, working. So it would be definitely a lot of work, a lot of time in the studio, a lot of different clients, a lot of different sound, a lot of different energies, good energies, positive energies, of course, but a lot of different creativeness and a lot of different ways of thinking.
How would you set a position?
Set up a session. I would set up a session by first we would get the split sheet together first, because that's first and foremost. You always need to make sure you figure out who's entitled to what, who was the creative on the creative side, who was on the songwriting side, who was on the actual engineering side, who was the producer, who gets what. You know, you always want to have that down pat first before you start anything, just to prevent any problems in the future. Then I would look and make sure that the signal flow is everything is plugged in correctly, everything is working properly, so that we will have no issues moving forward in the session. Make sure the vibe is good, make sure we know exactly what we want to do, what we're going for, who's doing what, put everybody in their proper position, as far as management, as far as the artist, as far as the producer, as far as the engineer, and then go from there.
What is your most exciting project?
Well, in college, I had a project where it was called a lo-fi project, and we actually had to take a sample and then create a beat behind the sample. So what I did was I ended up putting my Maya Angelou, Phenomenal Woman. I ended up putting her voice on there and her poem on there, and then putting some fire beats and drums and acoustics and piano behind it. And it was my favorite because it was a way of making something creatively off of something already created.
Okay, tell me about a time where you missed the deadline.
Well, the coronavirus happened, as you all know. It was a global pandemic, and it was very hard for me to keep up in college. My third semester, it was kind of hard for me to keep up. I had a lot of personal issues also as well that was happening, and I got really behind, and really, 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 really behind. And what I ended up having to do is, by the end of the semester, I was failing. And so what I had to do was I had to put my best foot forward, and ended up doing all my schoolwork at once. And I actually really being determined, like, I'm not gonna fail this. I'm not gonna let, my past, what happened to me, or the global pandemic that happened, I'm not gonna let it deter me from continuing to succeed. So I studied and stayed up all night and did all the assignments and ended up passing.
Let's say that someone gave you a brief and you misunderstood. How did you fix it?
Well, first and foremost, if someone's ever briefing me on something and I don't understand, I'm going to ask them to repeat it, but in a different way. So maybe, because sometimes people say things and you don't quite understand it in one way, but if they put it in a different way, you might understand it a little better. Also, I'd like to do a lot of research. In college, me and my classmates were definitely ongoing with that. If we didn't understand something in class, we would hold a whole different Zoom conference and actually go over it together. Maybe if someone who was not so good in career prep was better at mathematics, they would hold the math one, and then we would do one for the career prep. Whoever was getting the gist of the career prep. It's just how you go about it. Definitely teamwork makes the dream work. And just research. The more research you do, the better it will help you.